Welcome to Reread. Today I'm going to review Allegiance by Timothy Zahn. This book starts off where there's these stormtroopers. One of them kills a major in the army, and he and his 4 other stormtrooper brothers decide to go ahead and desert the Empire, because the Empire is not what it used to be, or not, at least not what they signed up for. They were ordered to kill civilians on a planet because they were rebel sympathizers, or they thought they were rebels, is what the Empire thought, but they were just women and children, and the stormtroopers weren't very happy about that. They wonder if that's how the Empire always was, or is it turning into that? So they leave Captain Ozzel's command, and of course he's trying to keep it secret because they escaped out from underneath him, stole a ship, and got away. And so he's trying to keep it on the down low until he can find those deserters. Now, this also, of course, has Jade, who is she's investigating a governor on a planet who is suspected of being a traitor to the Empire. And so Mara's going to follow the clues to see where that leads. Meanwhile, it has Han, Luke, and Leia, who really do nothing. And see, there's my problem. This book would have been fine without Luke, Han, and Leia. They really weren't needed in this. You could have just focused on the stormtroopers and how they eventually will meet up and team up with Mara, and Mara will take they call themselves the Hand of Judgment. It starts off as a joke, but then they're serious. They want to do good for the Empire. And so basically their assignment is to uncover a traitor who's been working with pirates, to help deceive the Empire. And their paths lead together, and so Mara basically adopts them. She realizes they're the deserters later on, but then claims them for her own, so they don't get in trouble. And Darth Vader's in it too. He and Mara Jade have a little rivalry. Darth Vader doesn't like Mara Jade, and Mara Jade, wants to stay out of his way. Knows she's no match for Darth Vader, but at the same time wants to poke the bear every once in a while when she's around him. I understand why he put Mara Jade in it. It's a story where she is the hand of the Emperor. In fact, she makes an announcement, "I'm the only hand." And I wonder, is that because Timothy Zahn wanted to say, yes, she didn't know there were other ones? Or is it Timothy Zahn saying, there's my stories and there's everyone else's? I'm sorry to think like that, but he always kind of had that attitude that he was better than a lot of the other authors. And so when another hand of the Emperor was revealed in Bantam novels, Timothy Zahn doesn't even want to acknowledge that. Another thing here is, and this is why there's a contradiction, Luke says they haven't battled stormtroopers since the Death Star. And he wonders, the ones that Tarkin had, they let them escape. These are dangerous stormtroopers and they could kill him. Well, that's simply not true. Based on all the other adventures in the Rebellion era, he has faced many stormtroopers before. And I know this is closer to Empire Strikes Back because Darth Vader is already flying around in his Super Star Destroyer, which, when the stormtroopers see, they're not like in awe of, what is that? No, they know exactly what it is, so obviously it's been around for a while, or news of it has been around the Empire for a while. So I may even have to move this book further up in the timeline, closer to Empire Strikes Back. But to say that Luke has never entangled, well, maybe not in the Timothy Zahn books, but in the rest of the Marvel Universe, yes, he's tangled with stormtroopers before. So that is an outright contradiction. Now, it does end with Mara Jade and her, stormtroopers taking down the corrupt Emperor. And actually, I want to say the last quarter of the book, if not the last third of the book, is nothing but Mara Jade. Like later on in the last chapter, Timothy Zahn will mention what happened to Luke, Han, and Leia, because Leia gets captured on a planet, and so Luke and Han go to rescue her at the end. And basically, he said, okay, there, I put the big 3 in there. Now let me talk about Mara Jade and the Stormtroopers. Okay, don't even put those in there. Now I wondered, did the editor say, no, you need to have Luke, Han, and Leia in this, or it won't sell? I don't know. I think a Mara Jade book with these Stormtroopers would have held up. But honestly, Luke and Han work with the Stormtroopers midway through the book, but they're pointless. They're not really needed in this. You could eliminate the big 3 and have a decent book. It's not the best book in the world, but it's just like wanting to squeeze. Again, he's wanting to squeeze things into a Rebellion era that you really can't. It's really hard to do that. And just to be kind of rude and ignore not only just comic books, but other books, other children's novels out there, that he has never encountered other stormtroopers, Timothy Zahn either didn't want to acknowledge it or he just did not know because he doesn't read anything else. He is someone who has admitted he likes to play in his own sandbox and he doesn't like to share stories with any of the other authors, and he did think of himself above all the other authors in the expanded universe. I've had that issue with him. I like some of his books, I really do. Like I said, you take out Luke, Han, and Leia, this is a decent book, but putting them in there makes zero sense. Makes zero sense. Overall, I don't know. If you're a Mara Jade fan, she's 20 years old, so it's a very young Mara Jade story. If you want to see her working as the Hand of the Emperor, that's fine. I don't know. It's another thing. Timothy Zahn missed a perfect opportunity to tie in A.C. Crispin's books too, because Han is thinking about, if Leia were to die, would he still be with the rebellion? And now that we've known that A.C. Crispin's book have already been out by now, Timothy Zahn could have just woven in like, he fell in love with Bria and see what happened. You could have tied it into other stuff, but you didn't want to because it's not a Timothy Zahn did not write the Han Solo trilogy, so Timothy Zahn is not going to acknowledge it exists. And right there lies the big problem. All right, folks, that's it for now. See you next time.